Hello, everyone. I've been going to auctions for over 50 years. I first started going to auctions when I was like 8, 9 years old, and they were the basic stockyard auctions. Over time, I developed, I guess, what you would call a somewhat addiction to auctions. I've been to every kind of auction you can imagine, and some you can't even imagine. I've been to auctions pretty much everywhere in the world, and the number one rule that I've learned in over 50 years is know what type of auction you're going to. I know. However, a lot of people don't misunderstand that. Like, I'm not talking about you're going to foreclosure auctions and then you go to an art auction, then you go to an estate sale, then you go to coin auction. That's not a type of auction. What is a type of auction that I'm talking about? Is it a Dutch auction, sealed envelope, right? The sealed envelope auction, generically known as a Dutch auction. Is it an auction where you have people attending and also online bidders? Is it online only? And I'm here to tell you the number one rule is only go to public outcry auctions. Now, public outcry auctions can happen in an auditorium. It can happen on the courthouse steps. It can happen wherever what's being auctioned off is. And the reason why is over 90% of auctions are scammed, or you're going to get scammed. There are paid people to bid against you. They plant the people in. There are so many things that can happen. Online auctions are I would say predictably more scammy. Is that even a word, in my opinion? Because you can't see anyone. A public outcry auction, you can look over and see the person who's bidding against you. Now, whatever you're going to an auction for, it should be public outcry, no internet, no online, no telephone, no, just whoever's there that you're bidding against. And that requires a little bit of research. Know what type you're going to and know what your competency is. A lot of auctions, if not all of them, pre-announce what will be auctioned, where the auction will be held, and what is going to be contained inside that auction. There are literally thousands upon thousands of different kinds of auctions, right? There are some people collect lanterns and they have lantern auctions. There's some people who stamps, playing cards, sports cards, magazines, comic books, artwork, um, real estate, both residential and commercial, also industrial. There are many, 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 many different kinds. However, there's maybe a handful or two of types, and you want to steer clear of anything that isn't public outcry, because there are about 6,000 counties in the United States. Similarly, in Canada and throughout the world, there's just an insane amount of auctions that go on a daily basis. And you have a tremendous amount of money chasing around the dream of get rich quick. So the number one rule is find out what type it is. That'll limit the potential scam that's going to be run upon you. Now, I'll give you a perfect example. I'll give more in the future, but it's just simple. You go to an auction and you're bidding against someone online. You don't know if that's really a person. And I've had situations where I'm bidding on something and there's someone online bidding against me. And it takes it to a point where that person online wins or that person on the telephone wins. And then lo and behold, before I leave the auction or after I leave the auction, I get a call saying that person dropped out. You're the next highest bidder. Do you want the particular item? And I always say no. I always say no because I know that's a scam. I was leaving an auction. We're bidding on a house. And the house had, if you go to Zillow, you can see beforehand generally what the estimated value of the home is, the appraised value. And Zillow, Open Door, all those type of things, Redfin, they're about 70% correct. So if they say a house is 200,000, 140 is probably right. Because remember, depending on, is it a foreclosed by the city? Is it foreclosed by the bank? Is it foreclosed by the HOA? All these things make a difference. So if I haven't left the auction yet, and let's say my bidder number, because they know me. I've gone to so many. 113 is my number. Doesn't matter if I'm the second person there. They give me 113. And I'll tell you a story about that afterwards. So whoever's bidding against me and dropped out, right? Their number is recorded. Like when you make a bid, you have to hold up a paddle and they write down the bid amount and your paddle number. So I'll say, okay, who bid against me? And let's say it's paddle number 100. I go, okay, let's go all the way back, right, to where that person bid against me. Again, so Zillow says a $200,000 house. I think it's about 140, and at auction, don't pay more than 30 cents on the dollar. Don't get into that. There's so many things. But I'm like between 15 and 30 cents on the dollar. So let's say that the property sells for half, right? So I think it's worth 140, and the final bid that individual makes is 70,000. I'll see, okay, at 50,000, that individual started bidding against me and they've left the auction. So if you want my bid just before that person started bidding against me, I will. Now, the county gets all upset, right? The auctioneer gets all upset. No, you went all the way up to... No. I was conned or tricked or duped because I let it go. Go after that person. Don't come after me. So the number one rule is what type. Because in a public outcry, which is public outcry, lock, stock, and barrel. Lock, stock, and barrel means at the auction, you bid against other people, right? When you get it, everything within the surveyed boundaries of that property is yours. There are too many people that go to auctions and auction against unnamed, unfaced, fake people. There are many, many, many times where you're bidding against the actual homeowner, shows up with fake ID, gets a paddle number, and just runs it up, right? And then leaves. There's no way to trace that person. So they come after you because you're the second highest bid, and you have to say no. You have to interrogate and investigate and find out when that paddle number went against yours, right? Because the difference can be huge, huge. The type of auction you go to, whether it's sealed bid, whether it's online, whether it's mixture of public outcry and online, and public outcry is the most important decision you're going to make. Because the amount of fraud, the amount, how high and large the scam, there are many times where whoever foreclosed or whoever's auctioning or whatever county are in cahoots, right? What do they say? A fool in his money, or a fool in her money, or a fool in anybody's money is just a fool, right? So number one rule, know what type of auction you're going to. And if you can, please be aware of all the things that can happen. Public outcry is the only auctions I will go to. Ahead of time. Everything's announced ahead of time at auctions nowadays. Back when I first started going to auctions, it was all public outcry, lock, stock, and barrel. Now, there's maybe 10% of the auctions are public outcry, and normally in more rural areas and stuff like that. So keep your head up, watch out, because the scams they run at auctions nowadays are just unbelievable. I know. However, that's how the world is. They're holding an auction to raise money. I mean, the tricks and things. I mean, further on when I make more YouTube, I'll specify more in detail what happens, what I've seen happen, what I know happens. But for my number one rule to anyone is know what type of auction you're going to. And if you can, please, public outcry only. And they happen on the courthouse steps. They happen in an auditorium. They happen at the property site. They happen at the business, right? And you're right there and you can get the feel and see what's going on and be informed. You can lose a lot of money very, very quickly. All right. See you on the flip side.